Live.
And we
You
have,
can go ahead. We're on.
yeah.
All right.
Get the audio.
Good morning, everyone. We're here for the July board meeting of the Wyoming County Business Center. I'd like to start with a roll call. We can start over on this end. Mark, introduce yourself, please.
Mark George, analyst.
Okay.
Kevin Zanner, Business Center Council.
Brianna Stone, board member.
Dan Lure, supervisor for the town of Middlebury and county planning chair.
Sam Gullo, Perry, board member.
Scott Gardner, IDA staff.
Jennifer Tishka, IDA staff.
Robin Marshall, IDA staff.
All right. Welcome. Good morning. We'll start right away with a couple administrative things. Let's start with the minutes. I think everyone's had a chance to read them, hopefully. I'd like to review them and then eventually approve them. Do we have any comments or questions on the April 13th minutes?
I would make a motion.
Have a motion, Bri?
I will second that.
Ann, thank you. If there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, next on the agenda is a review and approval of the financial report. Jim Brick, who does this normally, is not here. So Scott, I would assume you're going to take over on this one? Or
I can,
somebody else?
usually Robin does.
Robin?
I'll
Okay.
have Robin.
Yeah.
How's that?
Thank you,
Perfect.
Chairman. So this is going to be for 3 months, April, May, and through June 30th. We started out the month of April with $584,627.24 with cash on hand and CD combined, invested funds combined. We earned we brought in some funding from the Board of Supervisors. We brought in some fast track funding from our sponsors as well as Business Accelerator. We had some interest earned. Principal payments on both the WCBC loans and the Restart loans total $20,526. And our normal monthly expenses, we had marketing of $6,000, which included the $5,000 that goes to the Buffalo, Invest Buffalo, that the board approves each year. And we paid some additional, or the remainder of the audit expense, administrative fees to the IDA, and then we had some fast track fees for our facilitators for the spring class. We ended up the month with $462,892 cash in the bank and $145,759.66 CD at 5-star. If you turn over on the back, it's our operating budget. We are 50% of the way through the year. As you can see, we're at total revenues is at 50%, and we're doing a little bit better on our operating costs and expenses. So if there's any questions on any of them.
I don't have any. Dan, Bri, any questions? Let's,
I would make a motion to approve.
okay. Dan.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Robin. All right, let's get into section 3, action items, and we'd like to review and consider a microloan application. Mark, am I going to turn this over to you, or are you going to lead into this with any comments?
We're gonna go, yeah, we'll, real quick, it's a $20,000 loan request from Elijah Jane Movement LLC at her location at 25 South Main Street in Perry. And because we're gonna talk about her financials.
We'll do that off.
I would ask that we go into the executive session and then Mark will give his presentation.
Okay, we're ready for that?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we'll go into executive session.
Get a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
And then we'll
Okay,
kill the Needs to,
Yeah,
okay,
Bill.
go ahead.
All right, we are coming out of executive session and we've been discussing the Eliza Jane request for a term loan of $20,000 with a 5-year term, interest rate of 4%, which would be $368.33 a month for a term of 60 months. Purpose of the loan is to purchase Pilates equipment for Pilates machines. And the collateral will be a general security interest on all of the business assets to include the equipment, chattel, paper, inventory, furniture, fixtures, equipment now owned here and acquired by Eliza Park. And we will request and go after a first lien on security position of the equipment. Does that
And the personal guarantee is your additional collateral from Eliza Park.
yes, definitely a personal guarantee.
I think that recites the collateral. Yep.
I would make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion
I'll second that.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, Mark, thank you for the presentation. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Can I?
You can leave if you need
Okay.
to, yes.
I do need to go.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Mark.
Brianna, thanks for the help.
No problem.
Appreciate your input.
No problem.
All right, next on the agenda is to review and authorize an application to the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, a Community Hub Program grant.
Thank you, Sam. As a follow-up to a meeting on May 4th, where our economic development team, meaning us, met with their economic development team here, we had a great meeting and spent about 2 hours talking about how all of it works in Wyoming County, introducing them to what we do here. They went back and pondered about a project that they're working on as part of the rural cohort leadership team that I'm also on with Ralph Wilson on the side. And just as a reminder, this building received a $100,000 community hub grant. And as part of this same work, they're doing another round of community hub grants. And we really got talking about some creativity that they're seeing in Michigan. And they thought, based on what we talked about on the 4th, that this might be something that would be good for here. I met again with them on the 11th and talked about it for a potential downtown grant program, and then met again on the 22nd and was invited to apply for the funding. I've shared with them the memo that, so there is not an application, it's more of a conversation about how this goes. And so drafted this memo basically with them and their guidance. It's something they're very comfortable with and they like the idea of, and it would treat the 8 villages of Wyoming County like community hubs. So they need measurements, so it's going to be villages. They need areas that they can do, and those are confined spaces. And so these are the incorporated villages within the county. So the hamlets and the other areas would be excluded for this purpose. And there are 3 areas. What we would do for this one-time re-granting program is how they're treating it. So we'll be a pass-through in essence. And we put several different areas. So there's capacity building needs, small business supports, and brick and mortar project implementation. That groups, whether there's an association in that village or it's the village government itself, will have to work with some sort of group to come up with some clarified and agreed upon consensus about what they would like to do, one or more. So there's a sort of like a little suite of things that they could select from that are approved from Ralph Wilson. And then in here you can see that preference is given to, again, projects on main streets. And then we talk about downtown business connect examples, and I'll cite the examples here, things like connections to trails and trail economies, co-working, incubator spaces for small micro businesses, facade improvements, and encourage tourism, economic development, and placemaking opportunities. So those are some of the ideas because they have to fit within the 8 areas of Ralph Wilson's area of funding. So that's where it gets a little creative. But this is under their broad category of economic development, so and innovation and entrepreneurship. So I have an interesting spot in here where I say insert approved budget. So I created 2 budgets for them to review, and so they're reviewing both of these. The amount will be the same. It's $250,000 that they have essentially. I had a call and we were quote unquote invited to apply. So it will happen, assuming that they're happy with exactly what this
How
is.
you write it.
And I wanted to see with them which they prefer as the option to funding. So one creates a ratio based on kind of over 1,000, under 1,000 population for the villages, because it's going to be trickier, I think, for say the village of Silver Springs to spend the money if it's equal rather than the village of Warsaw, village of Perry, village of Attica. There's a lot more just infrastructure to work with. So we created 2 different options. One starts with an equal share of 12.5, and then based on if you have greater than 1,000, you get a bump of 5,000 or 20,000. So the 4 larger villages will get 32.5. The 4 smaller ones will get 17.5 to do their projects. And then they did authorize $50,000 for administrative support for us to either handle the work ourselves, hire a consultant, to do the community engagement, marketing, consultation, evaluation, implementation. So they were very generous about that as well.
Sure.
So I'm waiting for an answer back on which option they prefer. So the outside world doesn't know about this yet, and I kept it kind of quiet because I can't really, it has to be granted before I can go and tell people about it. But
Sure.
I need your permission to submit
Apply,
the
right?
memo to.
So this 250K, was that their recommendation? Or
Yeah, that's
did
what
we-
they've been doing for these types of projects.
Okay.
They did one very similar to this. In fact, we actually modeled some of this off of the other project in a community, in a county in Michigan,
Okay.
that's doing economic development, tourism development. It's really a cool project, what they're doing. And when I started talking about what I'd like to do here and what we could do here, they said, we think you're doing exactly what they're doing. Look at what they did. We would be comfortable because we just funded it. We would be comfortable funding it for
Sure.
you too.
Scott, if I may interject.
Yeah.
So I'm not certain whether or not all of these towns and villages have projects that are essentially shovel ready to go in.
They probably wouldn't at
They
this
wouldn't.
point, right?
I'm gonna put my county hat on.
Okay.
And of course, we've submitted a request to the DEC for funding to purchase the former Camp Wyoming for development as a county park.
Mhm.
And we're awaiting an answer from the state as to whether or not they can provide that funding. I look to the Ralph C. Wilson funding source as a means to redevelop some of the cabins, maintenance, repairs, anything we need to do to get that park in shape to become a county park. And there's a need there, obviously, because some of the cabins need new roofs and some of the facilities need to be maintained or developed. But I always looked at the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation as a potential source for that funding, because if we get monies from the state, either we can supplement the state's amount to purchase the property with some additional funding from another source, Ralph C. Wilson, or if we get the full amount from the state, we could utilize some of that funding. And I think it's within their umbrella.
It potentially could fit under parks and trails, outdoor
Exactly.
recreation.
Right.
That.
I'm almost thinking that's a separate kind of.
Well, I think
Well,
these are-
wait, is
so
it
that
because you think if we apply here, that might not.
Totally different, totally
Happen.
different. So,
Well, so the third question
Okay.
is, I mean, is this an annual thing
no,
or?
this is a one-time.
Okay, so how do we, if we want to apply to them again, potentially for funding for a county park?
That is,
How
that
would we
is
do
a
that?
conversation. I'll back up on this a little bit. So the community hub projects are out of the rural leadership cohort that Ralph Wilson has funded, right?
Mhm.
And they're doing very specific things out of that. So that's this group of 17 individuals between Michigan and New York that meet together, and we come up with funding priorities for their rural work on a very narrow, it has to fit within the 8 subject areas, but it's a very narrow focus that we're looking at. And we've actually come up with, we've funded capacity grants for foundations, we've created leveraging grants that the foundations are managing, and we created the community hub projects. So those are very narrow and specific within the cohort work. That type of funding, which would be outside of this, which would be sort of, I would call, straight in to Ralph Wilson
Mhm.
via either the legacy funds at Community Foundation of Greater Buffalo, which is managing a $53 million legacy fund. Well, they've got 2, but that's the one. And or a direct access into, make a direct appeal into the Ralph Wilson Board of Trustees, which I've told the county administrator, I can put you in touch with the people you need to talk to directly. Because that's how some of these other projects have happened, like Centennial Park up in Buffalo.
Yes,
Those have been Ralph Wilson as a foundation itself
right.
making grants versus this work, which is a targeted rural with economic development bent on it. They're
Okay.
really because they're leveraging grants. It's $75,000 for each year for 3 years that the foundations each have to work with potentially the town governments to help leverage dollars,
Mhm.
so that a town needs to hire a grant writer for 25 or 5,000. We could theoretically give 2,500 if the town gives 2,500. So that's the leveraging program. That's a whole other piece of work that we're working.
These funds, they want active right in the communities.
Right.
They have a couple different mindsets. This is money that they want right in, not used for leverage.
Right. These are different. So when they
want
come
this
up with
as
these
an
concepts,
implementation.
like this community hub would be, so this building in the first round of community hub funding, and that's not to say that there might not be one year 3 or year 4. I don't know, because they decide that as they go. This building was considered a community hub, and there's no guidelines. It's what they believe it should be at the time, which is the beauty of the way that their foundation works.
Well, given that and the fact that with the exception of maybe a few villages on this list, I'm not so certain that option 1 is the best approach. Because I don't know if they know what to do with the money.
I can help Castile, Gainesville, and Silver Springs.
Well, so
Do
here's-
something with the money.
Well, so here's the thing: is that's what the funding to do community
And
engagement is about. That will be meeting
That's
I'm
with
not really
those
using
entities,
Wyoming.
Mhm.
whomever
I can
we
find a
can
point.
figure out who they are, whether it's, say, the Village of Wyoming board versus, because you don't have a downtown organization. In
Right.
other words, we would talk with them and say, okay, you have $17,500 available. This is the suite of things that you can do with it. Is there something that falls within this that is a community hub, that would be something that the community would benefit from? It's something that the community would utilize. It would, it could be beautifying.
It could be their park right
Yeah.
down
It
there.
could be something for
And
the
there's no
park.
matching.
There is no matching.
No
These are
matching,
pure
so-
re-grants.
No, this is
So-
impact money.
Let me give you an example. So they, could it be used for paving the parking lot at the library? Because
Possible.
Borello's office already
Possibly.
committed
Did they?
6,000 or 8,000, 6,000, I think, to the library for that purpose. But
Well,
they don't
see-
have nearly enough.
And it'll cost 20.
And so the thing with this is I do have to run them up the flagpole with the trustees at Ralph Wilson. They have to fit what they want. So they have already funded all the libraries. Because we actually, when we were talking about hubs, we initially in our rural cohort said, well, libraries are community hubs, clearly, in our rural area, right?
Right.
And so
You
we,
said you have at 11 o'clock.
I do. I'm sorry.
If we're gonna,
Okay.
if we're going to continue to keep it.
Are you looking for some action on
So
this?
I need-
he wants us to approve to just be able to apply.
apply for the 250,000.
Yes.
The option funding, the options on how we use it, in
That-
large part is up to the
That.
fund,
The funder.
the funder.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for a motion.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to
Yeah.
approve him
Alright.
to apply.
Second.
Excuse me, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those carried.
Okay.
We have one more agenda item that needs an approval,
The budget.
and
Right.
the budget.
I mean, you can accept, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. We have two. If you want to
Two.
do the $5,000 grant from the Wyoming Foundation first, get
Sure.
that right off the
I would
table.
make a motion
That's
to
quickly
approve
for the mentorship program.
the $5,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those carried.
Okay, so that's taken care of.
The budget in substance, which is very, very almost identical to the budget from last year. I didn't see a reason to completely disassemble all the good work that we've done for many years. And we'll look at things over time, what we do, but I think let's keep things going. Things are working really well.
Sure.
Let's not upset that apple cart. We did make a revision slightly just to show it, and adding in the business mentorship program in the budget line 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one down under revenue. We split out. That's why there's a 0 on the 26 side, but there's a 2,500 on the 2027 side to show that that program wasn't being represented. So we wanted to make sure that it is now being represented in utilization of
Right.
funds. So
If you can justify an increase in 27, I would suggest you do so, because the county is sitting on a substantial fund balance.
well,
And I would strike while the iron's hot. you know?
well, we would love to continue to build up those programs. I mean,
Okay.
that always is our reason for
Sure.
being, right? Is
So you
is-
should be receiving a request from Janice Cook in the near future for your budget input for 2027. But if you're thinking that you might want to increase these,
do it now.
do it now. While we-
And you've looked at our annual report, you know the
Yes.
success of the 3 programs. And we want to add a 4th. So in the report that I'm going to do, it isn't necessarily a program, but it's the other
Okay.
night I met with UB's Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership, a cohort that was out here using our space. They wanted to meet with us and learn about economic development in County, how we do it. So I did that. I'm
You're good.
speed reading.
I'm sorry. It's
No.
all of the people from Ithaca, so it's not like I can.
Yeah.
If it was just a managers meeting, I would just be like, "Hey
But-
guys, I'm a little late."
we want to create the next phase, because we hear that in the comments
Right.
from the.
I would love to have regular meetings to keep momentum going.
Okay,
Testimony.
Because what they do is there's a when they're done with the fast track, it's a drop off, right? And at UV, this group has formed, or multiple groups have formed subsequent to their trainings, and they call it momentum. But they were sitting there using it, and I said, "Can I have one of those?" And it's what they do during their meeting to hold each other accountable, and they kind of speed meet, and they go around the table. This whole room was full of them the other night. It was all Erie County businesses. It was
It's all-
fascinating.
In Vale.
looks like
One
good
Wyoming.
stuff.
So
It was-
taking Dan's recommendation of and maybe increasing this year,
Yeah,
do you want to
Could I-
take
could
that
I-
upon yourself to?
Could I do a $10,000 to $20,000 increase?
yeah, I would put
Because
something-
we really want to pilot this next program,
Right,
and we need to get some.
You
Don't
This
take
is-
too much.
this is the year to do it.
So-
you have justification,
And we need
Okay.
marketing material. I need everything updated.
Yeah, we need to update our marketing and,
plug it in.
okay, I will, so if,
All they can do is confuse it.
This is true.
All
Counter
All
offer.
other things within the budget are, you know, we've made slight changes, obviously, to the agency auditing. That's a contract service. That's normal.
Right.
Just trying to think of
Everything
anything
looks
else.
in line.
There, right,
Yeah.
there is nothing that's irrational or out of the ordinary.
Sure.
And you can see that from our net and our revenue and expenses. They're very similar. So this gives a robust narrative about how all the money is spent.
Okay.
If you really want to
So,
read that, we won't
I
go
would make a motion to approve an updated sheet.
Yeah.
How do we do
There you
that?
go.
Yeah, with some increases
Some
in
increases.
this.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
can kind of leave that,
And I'll send to you what I sent. I mean, you'll
Yeah.
see it anyways,
Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah.
I'll send it
Send it
to
off to
all
us
of you
just
just so you're
Yeah.
aware of what we did.
Got it.
So we've got a motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you.
The,
And the next item I need to talk, right?
yes, you did. If it, and yeah.
You're good, you're good.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead and lead it, and then you
Ah,
tell me
so-
when to pipe in.
So there was a conversation after reviewing our, I think a couple of our most recent applications, that there aren't some questions that I think you as a banker thought were important to be asking, just to ask, should we need to know the answers in the future. Or if we find out something later, if you've misrepresented it, you know, we have some teeth potentially if you said some falsified a statement on your application to us. But I think, what were the sections that you would
So-
prefer to see?
The biggest piece for me, on any of my commercial loan applications, there are a series of questions, simply stating, revolving around character. You know, do you have any judgments, any lawsuits, pending lawsuits are important because, we may not see them, if they're pending. So like that question, if they answer no to it, and then all of a sudden they have some huge lien against them or garnishment, we at least know that they didn't answer
You
correctly.
can still do that
Yeah,
in today's world?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. It's on the personal financial statement. We don't have an application. So again, then, and the other big one for me is having a record, criminal background. Because we do, to my knowledge, in this group, we don't do any kind of background checks at all on the applicant. And if they check the box no, for me, and I speak to this in the entrepreneurship class, the 5 C's of credit, my number 1 C is character. And if they check the box no, but we're in prison for 5 years, I have a very tough time
Getting past that.
continuing. So I can't necessarily not continue, but I surely can look at it in a different perspective, I suppose.
Well, and if it was a yes, you can ask more questions.
Correct.
And if it was a no, and then you find out it was a yes, there's your character problem
Right.
there, but.
So that's really all that that I just feel having a few questions and
And I think the difference, some of the differences is microloan asks delinquencies on property taxes, income tax, loans, defaults on loans, judgments, bankruptcy. It does not ask any delinquency on child support. So that one has it. Rapid Start doesn't ask any of those, which maybe we should incorporate minimally those into a Rapid Start just to have them there. They're not there now. And the questions or two that you recommend.
yeah,
for your
just the
exam.
criminal background would.
So Brian, you're not asking that we actually perform a criminal background check, but ask the question, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
really, just so we have it, right? If a person defaults, let's say, and we go back to look at documentation, I don't know. I just,
How would that?
This stemmed from an application,
Sure.
and
Would that impact our decision?
I don't know, I'm telling you, the one about killed me. I approved it, but it about killed me. So,
Okay.
so it does impact in your brain, but you have to sometimes remove that.
A lot of it depends on the circumstance.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Well, we've
Agreed.
had a graduate from one of our accelerator graduate, for example, who has a felony conviction, has a business,
Mhm.
has done everything possible in her life to repair, fix,
Very open.
very open, very discloses it openly. We didn't ever ask any of it anywhere, but just tells you. And so that's the type of person that you see it, you ask the question, you understand it, you go, oh, sure. Second chance makes absolute sense here.
Sure.
But if we don't ask the question,
We'll never know
we won't know.
until.
So in this situation where I was looking, the question wasn't asked, I happened to have known about the situation.
So you had personal knowledge.
Correct.
Okay.
And it wasn't me personally, I just knew it because of my knowing everything.
Which is right. Yeah.
So,
Be careful what you do, Dan.
Right, she will know.
sometimes I
think
just
this
don't
will
want to
listen.
know. But anywho, if we don't ask the question, we will,
We'll know.
on the application, we would never ask the question, right? So I could have had a conversation with the person to understand it.
I understand where you're coming from. What I'm struggling with is how we would use that information in the basis of making a decision about a loan request. And without knowing the circumstances surrounding it, I would be fearful that there might be a negative association with the loan application, just simply because they checked the yes box.
But no, I think if they check the yes box, then the conversation happens.
Yeah, well, you indicated that in your business, I mean, it's a red flag, right? When they check yes.
Well, oh,
Do
wait,
those subsequently influence then your decision?
sometimes, and I'll tell you why. We just don't have time for this, but SBA guarantee, so when he's talking about SBA, if you have a felony, you're out. The end, no questions asked. That is just the SBA, it's black and white. It doesn't matter if you sold marijuana when you were, 13 years old and that, things happen. SBA is clear. And if we ever were to get into any kind of funding groups where we have to have criteria different,
That's
another
what I
part,
can talk
but-
about a little bit later, but
but if that question's not on our application and we don't know, and it goes to SBA and they do background check, it's done. So we wasted all our time having a conversation. For me, with the application that was in front of me, I removed that from my decision making, probably just because of years of experience. But all that does when that box is checked is enter into a conversation. Explain to me this so that I can explain this. But if that, in this situation, so let's just say this person, that question was never there, we go to SBA, they do a background check. Now I just feel like I have a little mud on my face because they now know he was in prison for 4 years and I didn't know that. I didn't have that prior conversation as an underwriter. So that's the only reason for the question. I don't think it would impact decision-making on our level, but it would definitely if we had to get SBA or anybody else involved.
I think that's a good suggestion. Yeah. And Scott, you had mentioned that we have it on one application, or a number of those questions on one application, not the other.
but not the other. The
I
rapid
think-
start doesn't ask the.
I think the rapid start should have those
Which
questions.
we probably should ask.
I don't
Just-
think that it hurts.
It doesn't
there's
hurt.
not
I
there's
mean,
no harm.
Because we,
Not at all.
it's still up to your discretion what you do
Yeah.
with loans.
Okay.
You have that different ability that's different than her sitting at the bank.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Completely.
And then
I'm sure
just
Kevin could guide.
One quick thing for guidance, are you still okay with an applicant coming in and applying for a rapid and a microloan at the same
Yeah, I
time
was-
for the same project?
I wasn't quite there yet, but
I know,
sure,
but Brian's
yeah.
gotta go, it's important that she hears.
Sure.
I'm coming back tomorrow to talk to Scott
Yeah.
to
I'm
get the
fine.
rest of it.
I'm
Okay.
fine with that, yeah.
at the same time, same thing.
Same, right.
Okay.
So they
We're
can
gonna-
If they
Yeah.
qualify.
All right.
We would do the same background that Mark would do, right?
He just, that situation, actually, it's a live one, considering Eliza
Eliza.
movement applied for a rapid start.
Yeah,
And he
But-
did the same underwriting, obviously, but they're two different animals,
Mhm.
you know, from this point of view. And
What I would say to that is, as long as we are aware in the board meeting of that, right? So if they didn't know, because I see it,
Right. you're
right?
right, right.
so I knew that she applied for the 10, Dan wouldn't know that if it wasn't brought up. So
Mhm.
as long as we are aware when they're applying for the next piece, that one was done, then I would be okay with that. I'm so sorry. This is the
Nope.
first time I've ever had to do it, so I'm so
Nope.
sorry.
It's good thing,
thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
thank you. Have a great day.
too.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Let's see. So was that number 4?
That was number 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so now we're into the updates, right?
Yes, I think we're ready to move on to the program updates. We'll start with the microloan program.
Kevin, can they still take action if they lost a member of their
They-
quorum, or does quorum remain?
No, we no longer have quorum, so
Okay.
the remaining members can't take any
We
action.
won't do action, but
You can certainly finish the
let me,
discussion.
okay, I just wanted to make sure we didn't.
Yeah.
'Cause some boards you can, quorum remains regardless.
Public entities cannot,
Got it.
because you need 3 members to act for a
Yeah.
5-member board.
Got Alrighty.
Should have did that.
Well, you have your microloan report in front of you there. Everyone is doing well on their repayments, except for the one that we started talking about earlier, Max's Bakery, that we have sent a certified default letter,
That came back.
which was returned no such number. And then about 2 months later, I think it was, she wrote out of the blue and asked how much was still remaining on her loan. And Jen replied to her with the amount and forwarded her a copy of the letter. Subsequent to that, we've had no reply from her or movement on the loan. And she just continues to cite that she has not settled her divorce, which has been going on for
Many years.
many years. It's they must have a huge estate they're trying to settle.
Yeah.
So I guess the question would be, what action do we want to take next on that loan? We first, as Kevin says, need to find out where she lives.
Yeah, that's pretty important.
Where she exists, you know,
Yeah.
we don't know because the address we have on file for her is being returned, so we'll have to do some background information, I guess. I don't know if we can, is there a level of that can be run on someone without?
I think there are probably some services out there that can find people
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
cost money,
Other than
right?
Yeah, what is it,
13.
13.4.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful as to how much we're going to spend on this
Right.
and not be successful and find out it's costing us even more. But I would like to think that there would be one more,
Act to.
some sort of avenue that we can, before we put this to bed.
Well, we could, I mean, like you mentioned, Kevin, subscribe potentially to one of those services that seeks people, finds people, see what you might have in your arsenal that is,
You have to find, you can't serve the person with a lawsuit unless you know where they are,
right.
right? So that's the first challenge you have.
Have we written off loans of lesser or greater value in the past?
you pursued the Canaan's loan, and that was what, 18,000?
18, yeah, it was like 46 in
And it
fees.
cost about $4,600 to pursue that loan.
I did, okay, and then we ultimately wrote it off? Or did we get a?
You had a judgment on that, didn't
Yeah,
Yeah.
the judgment.
Did we take
I think
possession?
we wrote off,
it was a while back.
is it Twice as Nice in Attica?
Twice as nice,
We wrote
yeah.
that one
we
out.
wrote that
Will
one
got
out.
paid.
We'll get paid.
got-
Oh, Deb got paid,
You went
Yeah,
after
with
him,
insurance.
I see,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we
I know previous to that, we wrote off, Bob Doyle's with, he had a.
Was that a regular through here?
It was my loan,
It was.
Well, given that it's coming up on 5 years, right, since we've received a payment from
Yeah.
Max's Bakery, I don't know if it would be worth the effort to go after them, but. you know,
That's what we said,
we
maybe
could find out if
some
how much it
moderate, if we could find her, let's do some background to see if we can
Sure.
actually locate her.
Yeah,
And then if we can make a decision on, we can send
Okay.
another letter perhaps, see if we get a response, and then,
yeah. At least try to find,
because this is past small claims, isn't it? Because it's 13,
right,
I think, is it 10,
Yeah,
up to 10?
I think that's right.
So then
Might be
then
five.
you're paying a lot more in
Yeah, I mean, yes.
fees, legal fees and whatnot to file it in the Supreme Court, right?
Yes, there's
Yeah.
filing fees and Supreme Court.
More
There is an accelerated process for moving on some certain, so you move for judgment
Yeah,
instead of just filing a complaint and having
Right.
an answer submitted. So
Yeah.
we've done that before.
yeah,
So there's ways to do it, but you have to find the defendant.
right. Well, so I guess we can do a little bit more due diligence on locating without spending too much money. I don't think, I mean, if it's a service where you pay $49.95 to try to find somebody, I suppose that's reasonable, but
right.
if we can. Do we have social security numbers? We must, if we have.
Whatever's in the file.
Yeah, I'm sure we do in the file. That'll help find her. So, and Titan Properties is behind.
And he's been in contact with email, and he said he's gonna drop off a check. I
So-
just haven't seen it yet.
That's for the property in Attica that
Yeah.
they're working to open.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they've limited the hours at the Gaslight Market in,
Yeah. There was
Wyoming.
a medical situation in the family,
okay,
and that kind of put everything on hold, and that's probably why you're seeing changes there as well.
okay.
They're working through that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not open until noon on Saturday and Sunday. And then I think even the Monday now, so they're really only open, for 6 days, but it's not the full day. Sarah, who runs that, is supposed to be the one who's doing the one in Attica as well.
Yeah,
And
that's the medical situation.
that must be with Sarah, sure. Yeah, I think she had some issues, but. Okay, because Doug did not put his own other personal interest with Titan Enterprises, the trucking company, on as collateral for this, did
This
he?
is a separate
It's a
LLC.
separate.
Yeah.
Sure. He's got the money. His truck's running all the time,
Right.
so he's doing a lot of
We're
hauling.
gonna do a little more due diligence to see if we can locate
Okay.
her first, and then we'll first figure out what to do
Okay.
next.
Okay, sure.
All right. So
We're good there?
we're good there. And then we did, I think in your packet, you also have, the cover sheets. We just thought those would be of interest. Those are the 2 rapid start loans. So we had already talked about Eliza Jane movement, hers. And then on the other side, we did a $10,000 rapid start for Fat and Happy Catering LLC. And the terms, which are always the same, are on there, as well as he's going to work on make changes to the facility, the kitchen that he's using, and use it for inventory supplies and then business marketing development. I really think it's gonna be more inventory and supplies.
Okay.
And part of it is one of those hoods you have to put in the kitchen, so that's what the two new rapid start loans are. That's why we'd add that, so
Okay.
we have that in there.
You know, I was reading back through her application for her current loan and indicated there that she would be assisted and guided by her family who plans to work at the wellness studio. And that she's already purchased other equipment, $25,000. So I would assume that we could include that collateral in for the wellness center, correct?
If
Other equipment costing approximately $25,000 has already been purchased.
that
was the SBA.
that may be what
Oh,
she purchased with
yes.
SBA, so that would be that already would be taken
Got it.
up from us.
All right.
Most likely.
Okay,
Jen, do you wanna, are you
Yeah.
ready for her to talk about
Mhm.
fast track?
Yeah.
Want to hear
Let's
about
move
some
right on to
programs?
fast track.
This is just a program.
We'll move along.
sure.
Okay, we received all the anticipated funding for the Fast Track program and still very appreciative of the sponsors' generosity and continued support for our community. In collaboration with the Wyoming County Business Education Council, I've been working with Nick DeMario about reviewing our scholarship that we have, that we collaborate with them. And Nick is adding on some additional requirements in the essay, and that high school students who complete the Fast Track program could submit evidence of completion for the New York State Seal of Civic Readiness Committee to get a readiness points. So that's an add-on.
Yes, he's been to the county, actually my planning committee
Yeah,
meetings several times. And he's very
it's
enthusiastic.
very engaged.
Very engaged.
Very
Yes,
enthusiastic.
yeah.
Yes, and very engaged, yes.
Yeah.
So we're working with him on that.
I think he's meeting with various high schools and administrators in the region too, so.
Our new facilitators, Parker Bray and Tom Schultz, completed their first cohort. We had 11 participants who graduated on May 19th from the spring class. Our evaluations were positive, and then a few testimonials, which I already mentioned one. This is an essential program that will help lead to success and also greatly improve the chances of a business to avoid mistakes. Great class, feel more confident about business, and then the one about keep momentum going. So very positive feedback, very engaged class. Deliverables are a little different, incorporated a lot of AI into this program, which is what's happening. So real time, that's what's going on.
Excellent.
Fall class begins August 25th, runs to October 27th. I have 10 registered. So we are at a full class. 2 just haven't made that deposit, which is skin in the game. So 8 secure. I'm anticipating the full 10. That's it for Fast Track. And we will be updating all our marketing materials with new photo, new everything.
Okay.
Okay, the Accelerator Academy, Jeff Fitch and Mike Fitch are still facilitating that. We applied for and were awarded Key Bank Foundation Community Scout sponsorship, we call it sponsorship. And the fall offering of the Academy, September 2nd to the 23rd. I will be advertising the program beginning in August. We have 1 business registered so far. To date, we've had 34 businesses take that program since 2021. Then we'll move on to the mentorship program, which Scott had mentioned. We applied for Wyoming Foundation competitive grant and were awarded the $5,000 grant from the Wyoming Foundation and a Wyoming Foundation client. And we'll be receiving that award on July 23rd at the 50th anniversary.
Everyone's invited.
Everyone is invited, yes. And then I did have one kind of update about our Google Analytics. Dan, I know that you might have an interest in this, about who's visiting our website, what's happening with these programs, you know, type of thing.
Sure.
So just some numbers. The Fast Track program is the top program, obviously, with all that we have. We had 282 views and 174 active users, which created people being on the registration page. So they went to that next level, 113 views. So there's activity happening there. Mentorship came in second, 53 views, 37 active users, and the Accelerator Academy had 50 views with 42 active users. And I went down into the microloan program, 100 views with 64 active users. And the Rapid Start had 68 views with 50 active users. And what it means to be an active user versus just a view is that they've engaged in the session, they stayed on the site for at least 10 seconds, reviewed 2 or more pages, and completed a key event like they actually registered, or they found meaning on the page and they actually focused it on the screen so that it tracks the time that you spend on the screen. So I thought that was kind of interesting because it says this gives you a more accurate picture of your actual audience size and who's actually finding value in your content.
Sure.
So same thing with the website. We need fresh pictures. We need to update our videos. We got to have Parker and Tom in there now. So we'll be updating a lot of that. So just a kind of like a fun fact about our Google Analytics.
Excellent.
Good.
That's it. Sorry.
You're good?
Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
What do we have for other business, Dan?
Well, I just had a few other updates that I wanted to share with you. Just on the hotel project in Arcade is moving forward. We had a gas pipeline missing. We didn't know where it was, I guess, or it really was never there. So, but we were able to determine that after getting the owner of the pipeline to come out and actually map where their line is and discovering it is not on our property, so we can move the project ahead, which is great. And we have a land disposition agreement pending developer council's approval. We're good to go. We're just waiting for them.
So they're still planning on breaking ground in August?
If we can get all that due diligence done and that agreement in place,
Sure.
otherwise it's going to push it back probably a little bit further.
Okay.
And this is the same company that has this
Yes,
here,
in this hospitality.
which it surprises me. This occupancy rate down here is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I see the number of vehicles parked in that location.
It's proved itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was a need.
It
Yeah.
certainly, and I can almost guarantee this.
Envision
Probably
the
more
same
so
thing.
in Arcade.
Oh, yeah.
Because so many people are lost. There's a ton of leakage. When you talk to the companies down there, the businesses, the people that are going
Yeah.
elsewhere.
That would be very successful.
Yeah,
So you drive by there on like a Friday night or a Saturday night. They have that outdoor patio
or the fire, that
with the fire,
giant flaming pit.
and that there's a dozen people
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
around that
The only thing
with
they
their
need is a
drinks
little-
in their
right.
hands. You know,
It's BYOB, but
exactly.
it's
but
busy.
Still, it's busy.
yeah,
I'd be curious to know where those people are coming from. Are they just
I think it's a
transiting through
combination
the
of
Yeah.
maybe hospital,
some of it.
and then you have workers from around.
You see that during the week. You
During the
definitely
week.
tell it during the week. There's a lot of company
A lot
cars.
of company cars there, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But then on the weekends, weddings and
You can tell. You can watch the pop-ups for graduation weekends.
Yes.
And it isn't just say Warsaw. It's
right.
in the area. And
Yeah,
you see
for
these
sure.
little pop-ups that all of a sudden it's full.
Yep.
And you go. Then you always have to go. What's going on this weekend?
Yeah.
They have to go in reverse and say, why is it so busy down there?
Oh yeah,
But
I know it's crazy.
It's a good thing. So we're very hopeful for the Arcade site
Good.
as well.
They're good operators.
They're good
Yes,
operators.
yes.
And they've been good to work with. So.
Yep.
Quick update. Just a piece of good news. Frontier, which is 58 Church Street LLC, the Brownfield Cleanup Program application was finalized, as you knew, and went to DEC and was open to public comment until the 22nd. We were recently notified that their project has been accepted into the Brownfield Cleanup Program. So all things have happened the way that we wanted and hoped, and things moved forward. They are just in a coordinating with Evan on that project just to make sure there's no outstanding issues, and we're pretty well
Yeah.
set on that. So
That was one of the gating issues, was for them to get into the program.
that was the big one, and you had set some terms on that or contingencies on that
Mhm.
and they got it done.
Good.
So that was
Good, yeah.
that was a big thing.
Mhm.
Just letting you know that we do have agreements in place for the rail transfer station. We're just waiting on signatures and review of what will be a subrecipient agreement
Yes, it was.
for that project. So the IDA will step back and will administer, but we're not managing.
That's for Mark Works.
Marco Dairy LLC, yes.
Got it.
Yes. Just a couple other things. We toured the Pioneer Credit Building and Arcade, and they've actually lowered the price to 1.45 million. It's a 37,000 square foot building. It's a gorgeous building.
Mhm.
I was shocked at how well maintained it is. Literally turnkey.
Mhm.
You could go in.
Any
there
interest?
anytime. There has been the realtor said there has been a couple calls on it, but
Okay.
I think it is such a specific space. We looked at, you probably could put a really great youth center, gym. You could, the other things other than call centers.
Hotel?
It's right next door to the hotel.
Have you guys been in that building at all? Have either of you?
Not in the arcade building,
It's,
the
he's
period.
referring to the youth center, and I found this so fascinating because there's a large section right now is filled with, cubicles of where people would sit and make calls, or whatever, but you take that out, the ceilings are very high,
That's
and then at the second floor, there's,
It's like
mezzanine windows, or you could look down and
Sure.
it was like a perfect, indoor soccer thing, because my kid played indoor soccer forever, but I just thought this would be a great youth
Well,
center, because they could have all kinds they could have basketball, they could have soccer,
Yeah.
they could have, any kind of indoor sport, and it just looks, it's awesome, but it's a lot of money, and I don't know if it would be something
Yeah.
that.
I know a really active local church down there had looked at it for a similar reason, but I don't think they could come
Yeah.
up with the money, but
Yeah.
And then on the other end, it's got lower ceilings, but it's all carpeted, it's got outside around the edges is all office space.
Yep.
But it would be a great daycare center, or, something
Or
like that.
multi, like you could do.
Yeah,
I was fortunate enough to work in a similar building at the Kodak Elk Grove site, where the perimeter, the building was wide open.
mhm.
It was originally a Heidelberg building,
Okay.
sold to Kodak, and they had it constructed there. And the second floor mezzanine was conference rooms around the perimeter, all glass looking down. And the first floor were offices, but in the mezzanine area, they had a small, like a diner area, and then it was all just plants and seating areas and water, and it was a beautiful building to work in. It was just outstanding. Wouldn't even think it was a corporate building,
Right.
judging by how they had it.
And that place to work.
Oh yeah.
Do you know any information on Coast's operation in the Perry building?
I have reached out to learn more.
Okay.
I've not heard back.
Because they had initially
I-
advertised for 200 employees,
Mhm.
but I have not heard,
That they found them. No, I
or
also.
if they're even operating it right now in there.
Yeah, I had not heard. I thought they were operating,
Okay,
but that they had not gotten the employee complement that they need.
okay,
They are heavily recruiting.
yeah, so they are for that.
They are heavily recruiting. And again, I've reached out, a couple of contacts I had over there because I want to go check it out.
Yeah,
see where
sure.
we're at,
Have you heard anything about 5 Star here? Because they're reducing their footprint
Any more than
on whether or not they're going to do anything on Center Street or.
they made the commitment to keep
On Liberty Street?
Liberty
Liberty.
Street open.
Yeah, they're gonna be there.
That
They're
was-
not going anyplace.
they just
on
spent-
Liberty Street. Yeah, they
A
spent,
couple million
they spent a lot of money on.
rehabbing that.
Yeah,
And it's a full.
sure.
We did do a tour. They had the community leaders meeting, and we did do a tour and saw how, and it is fully utilized.
Yes.
They're using
Yeah.
a
Matter of
lot.
fact, they may even have more people in there now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a lot of space sort of ready to go.
Yeah.
New offices. So it is a new layout, and it previously
Sure.
had.
I know that downtown here, there's been some commitments made to that building by different individuals.
Have they officially sold it yet?
It's sold.
It has been sold.
Yes, Mario owns it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna,
Yeah, and they're
They're gonna
occupying
move, yeah.
the upper, so that their building will be up, which is a little bit smaller office space, which is fine. But they've still got, I think it's 11,000 square feet,
first floor.
first floor that's open. Yeah, I have some interest.
We're looking at that from the county perspective as a potential location for the public defenders.
Oh, okay.
So we put some bids out, but
Do you feel as though the county needs a location like that?
they are literally jam-packed over at the,
And Linwood?
on Linwood.
Yeah.
The public defender's office.
Well, the upside is you'd be leasing from a private business and not taking it off the tax roll.
Right. Yeah, that building over there on Linwood, the lawyers are just in basic small cubicles.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't need even the minimum square feet for a office space, according to building codes. And Leah continues to add people to the staff, there, so they want something in close proximity within walking distance of the court, so that
They
they
would,
attend
they would most likely take the entire.
the entire first floor.
Oh, wow.
Damati would be upstairs.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
So we had to go out to bid, for that type of space, but yeah, they're looking to find a new location for those folks.
It's well-maintained office space.
Yes.
It's big, just a couple others. We're still actively participating on the county housing study that will be wrapping in August.
Sure.
Interesting information that they'll be coming out with.
Yep.
We've seen the drafts on it, and not, I think, what we thought necessarily, but so we'll share that when that's released.
Okay.
You'll see it anyways.
Of course.
You're paying for it. Our work on the community economic development strategy, known as the SEDS for the Genesee Finger Lakes Planning Council. I was involved in that, redrafted the pages for Wyoming County and that. I kind of had to laugh, but I looked at the draft that now is with the Fed for review, but all the counties put in their priority project lists, and some counties have one item. Other counties had maybe 8 items. They had 21 items. Because they gave me this many boxes, and I actually used a couple others. But I worked. It was our existing list. I talked to the county administrator for his priorities. The county. I talked to planning. So it's a robust list, but it's better to be in the plan than not.
Sure.
Right. So couldn't imagine just putting in one thing.
Right.
Your park's in there too. So.
Okay. Good.
We're also continuing our work. We've all been actively engaged in the county comp plan process. And on the 23rd of June, we hosted a roundtable of county economic development people, including like the BEC and others. And we worked on our section specifically with the consultant from Genesee Finger Lakes and set all of the reasonable goals that on a standard we thought was workable. And so we all did it together. So we were all kind of in concert with one another. And we think we're going to continue doing that quarterly, biannually, getting that group together and just looking at the plan, seeing where we're at, working together. So on June 16th, we also hosted the staff from Empire State Development, and they came out and did a presentation on the CFA process for manufacturers and businesses that wanted to attend. Actually, Chairman Brick attended, and we got some good information, what's available. And for us, it was very interesting because I found out that there's a capital access program. It's got an 88-page application, which I forwarded to Kevin for some light reading, but didn't know it existed. And I've been concerned that the Business Assistance Corporation's loan fund is dwindling fast. There is going to be a point where we are not going to be making loans for a while. That's going to be capped. So I discovered in conversation that there's this capital access program, and they put me in touch with the gentleman who oversees it for the state. We had a great meeting, and they offer loan. It's a loan package. It's a loan fund, and its minimum that they'll give you is $500,000. And he said they do it today. They really want to start investing in rural upstate, and it would be us borrowing at 1% and then lending, and we can add a 2 to 3% on top. So it would really typically get us back to around the 4% that we're lending at now. It sounds good. I hate to say it sounds too good to be true, which is why I sent it to Kevin for a review, because it has a lot of SBA. This was the comment that was going to connect to what Brianna said earlier. It has, because it's federal money that comes to the state, and then the state lends it out, regrants it one more time. So the state gets the 1% cut, and then we can add on to it. But it has SBA stipulations for the loans. So that's where we would have to be a little bit careful. Interestingly, though, is if we can borrow, if the BAC approves us going forward with that, we wouldn't necessarily recapitalize the existing loan fund. We'd create a new one because it would have new terms and standards. So
That's right.
it would be better to keep it separate.
Sure.
But potentially, because this is also a local development corporation, we have the potential of going after it as well. So that's some of the analysis to see what the pros and cons are.
Cutting out the state, meaning just, do we go from the federal government to us?
No, it still passes through the state. So for us, there is another way to do it. You actually have to become a CDFI, and then we could apply to Treasury, and then we could get it. And that's how you cut out the state. But in this sense, the state has hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're the re-grantor in this. So that's why they have the same terms that the Fed has.
But at the county level, we could have two 500s, one with the
Potentially.
BAC, one with the business center.
Potentially
It's
we
$1 million
could.
we could.
Right.
Now, is that through a consolidated funding application?
No, this
No,
is
no,
straight.
different
This is
program.
straight
Okay.
through.
There's a match to this too. So that's one of the things I was going to talk to you about. But
Yeah.
we can, when we're done here, because I've taken a look at it already. a little
Yeah.
bit.
So that's, we want to
But
talk
that's
more about
so
it.
there's some bells and whistles that comes with it. I
Right.
mean, they always would, right? But
Right.
but it is aimed at small businesses,
Right.
Right, and that's I think why Scott's probably bringing it up in this meeting, because that's a lot of the focus of this organization is working with small businesses. So there are levels of what qualifies as a small business, right? But from your borrower portfolio, it seems like a lot of them would fit.
They would fit.
So
And we can
there's
open it up.
alignment there.
Right. So devil's in the details.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get more information, bring it back, and then see if it's something worth pursuing. We met with the Congresswoman on July 8th. She was out for a visit, had a lunch, did a tour of the hospital, and then we took her on a tour of TMP Technologies down in your neck of the woods. She had
Okay.
a great tour down there. She really
Good.
enjoyed it. And the last thing is this flyer in your packet. We are working with Invest Buffalo Niagara. We're members of that, of course, thanks to you, to co-host a tech hub manufacturing event August 19th, 8:30 to 10. We're going to have it at the Genesee County Economic Development Headquarters because we figured it's probably a better location to attract people to. And it's about prepping our companies to be prepared for the Micron, the coming of Micron, and that project and the supply chain that they are going to basically create, and how our companies, if there's any way that they can get into it, this is the way to do it.
Sure.
So Wyoming County, fortunately, is included in this hub grant that they received,
Yes.
and so we're able to participate in
I
this.
saw in the news where they're starting to pour concrete
Yeah,
for the facility.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's coming.
moving forward.
It's coming. That's why still early. We want our manufacturers, small companies, to understand if there's a way that they can get into Micron's or its supplier's supply chain
Sure.
to do it. So this is an introductory, and then there's also other opportunities that our manufacturers can take advantage of because of the dollars that are set aside for this. So we want to make sure that there are training dollars
All right.
primarily. So that's up and coming too.
Wonderful.
Is that everything?
That's everything.
That's a great update. Good to hear there's plenty going on.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't have a presence at the fair, do you?
We have a booth at the
Oh,
fair.
you do?
Yep.
Okay.
In the
I was
commercial
just
building.
thinking that, that would be an opportunity to promote, the various programs and the loan programs at your booth there.
Yeah, we do.
Which I think you probably do. Sure.
We're in the commercial building just down from the Culligan guy, I think. The
Oh,
water.
yeah.
you know.
Okay. Yeah, I know where you
You know,
are.
yeah,
I know where
Yeah.
you are.
The
Yeah.
Wyoming Foundation actually is gonna sit in our booth this year.
yeah, we're gonna get a little space
Get
in
a
there.
little
I think
extra
Rye is
activity.
always at the corner.
She's at the corner.
She's
She's
at the corner.
just
right?
down, and then
Yeah.
right, we're on the same side.
That's coming up,
Yeah,
Soon enough.
2 or 3 more weeks.
Yeah,
August,
3 or so.
3 weeks.
Nine,
I think it's
16th or
August
something.
18th.
It feels earlier
or
this
it's in
year. I
that
think.
week.
Yeah,
It's later.
yeah. She had her
Sure.
supervisors meeting up there.
Yep.
Tuesday. So
All right. Do you have anything else for us?
I do not.
Anybody?
No.
Looking for a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Are you in favor?
I am in favor.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Great.
All right.